Welcome back to Minnesota, everybody. A late first half touchdown from Irv Smith Jr. ties things up here. We're getting a look at some of these guys early on, Tony, and we'll talk more about that game in a second, but this wasn't the only game on our air this evening. We had the Chargers and the Saints game, so let's take a look at some of the highlights from that game. Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers not playing today. Second half action off a Saints punt. Troy Maine-Pope fields it and takes this one. Tony, what?
Yeah, he's going to go all the way to the house.
81 yards for the touchdown, puts his Chargers up 10-3. To the third quarter we go. Saints work done. Taysom Hill finding Austin Carr for this 27-yard touchdown. Hill goes 11 for 15 for 136 and 2 scores. Saints win that one 19-7. So what has stood out for you in the first half of this game, Tony?
Well, when you look at these two teams, obviously I think maybe playoff caliber teams, especially the Minnesota Vikings, but I like Russell Wilson. He's been controlling the clock. It looks like he's back in his mid-season form. Looks great.
You know he doesn't like sitting on the sidelines. We didn't see him last game. So far today, 6 of 8, 82 yards passing. Also, we know what he can do on the ground. 2 carries for 9 yards. What is it that makes him so special?
Well, you know what? He's an enigma. He's somebody that I've never seen before in the NFL. Obviously, they gave him that big contract. You look at the numbers that he's put up throughout his career. It's nothing eye-popping, but he wins games, and he knows how to control the clock, and he looks great. And then on the other side, I look at Kirk Cousins, too. I thought he played really, really well in that first half. I think he was 6 for 8, and big expectations for Kirk Cousins this year. Came back off the big contract last year, did not make the playoffs. It's not his fault that they didn't get to the playoffs because he played pretty well. But if he can play like this, and with Irv Smith, you saw the shot at the top of the show. Irv Smith, the second-round draft choice tight end, they're going to be able to go with those guys right there, Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs. It's going to be a great offense. Yeah,
and Seattle liked the break up on the play right there. I know they're trying to avoid those big plays that they saw a little too much of last year. We got plenty more action coming up, including some quarterbacks. You mentioned Kirk Cousins, but some other big names didn't make the playoffs last year. Who will turn that around this year? We got plenty more action coming your way from Minnesota right after this. We are back. Fox NFL Kickoff returns for another fun-filled season as we take you from week 1 all the way to Miami for Super Bowl 54. It's Tony, Mike, Colin, Coach Schrager, and, well, they even invited me back, Tony. Sunday starting at 11 a.m. Eastern right here on Fox. And when you sign a 3-year, fully guaranteed $84 million contract like Kirk Cousins did last season, you're expected to lead your team deep into the playoffs. Well, the Vikings finished 8-7-1 and watched the postseason on TV, albeit probably some nice TVs at home, but that's not where they wanted to watch it. Cousins, however, wasn't the only big name to watch the game from the sideline. Take a look.
Despite Matt Ryan nearly matching his offensive output from his MVP campaign in 2016, it wasn't enough to overcome an injury-riddled defense, and the Falcons finished 7-9. Cam Newton and the Panthers looked like Super Bowl contenders until a 7-game skid mid-season. Newton's shoulder became an issue, and he was shut down after Week 15. With a disgruntled Antonio Brown, but without Le'Veon Bell, Roethlisberger threw for career highs in passing yards and touchdowns, but missed the playoffs for the first time in 5 seasons. Despite having the second highest salary cap value for a quarterback last season, Matthew Stafford and the Lions spent 0 days over 500. And the Packers have now missed the postseason 2 years in a row. Aaron Rodgers threw for 25 touchdowns, his fewest while playing a full season.
You know what? I'm looking at those quarterbacks right there. The guy that I really think is going to get his team back to the postseason, it's got to be Matt Ryan. I know you're going to say I'm a homer.
Colors your tie there, Tony.
I get it, and it makes sense, but I'm telling you, not because of Matt Ryan. I think he played well last year, but the defense is going to be healthy. Keanu Neal's going to be back, Pro Bowl safety. Deion Jones, Pro Bowl linebacker. That go along with Calvin Ridley stepping up in his second year to go along with Julio Jones. That's going to be a good football team.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned those injuries. They were the 8th most injured defense last year, and it wasn't a coincidence that their defense was only ranked 28th in total defense. So looking to get healthy. In the meantime, we got plenty more second half action coming your way, Tony. Pleasure as always. And we will send it back to Kevin and to Charles after the break. Enjoy the game.